The shadow fold. A scar on the map that tore our country in two.
What the hell are you doing here?
I'll make it. Promise.
To destroy it, we need a miracle.
So who actually saw what happened?
We were attacked. And then there was a searing light.
Lift up your sleeve.
What are you?
Answer the question. What are you?
A map maker, sir.
Our map maker? Well, you and I are going to change the world.
Ooh.
Let's break it down because there's a lot to discuss there. It's pretty epic. Leigh, let's start with you. What was kind of the best part of seeing your world come to life on screen that way?
I mean, that part, just watching the trailer was pretty good. Pretty much done now. Look, there are so many scenes I could point to and moments I could point to. I think, honestly, seeing these actors inhabit these characters, the tiny moments that aren't even in the dialogue, you know, a look between Kit and Freddy, the expression on Jessie's face right before they're about to enter the fold, all of it was so unexpected. And, you know, you can write these characters and try to control them. And that's, you know, fantasy writers are control freaks. We really love to play God. But there's something extraordinary about seeing those characters take on a totally different life and interact in ways you never anticipated.
And Eric, for newcomers to Shadow and Bone, what's the most important takeaway here? What is, I guess, the Shadow Fold, and why is it such a terrifying thing?
Well, it's full of monsters, so that's pretty scary for starters. I would say that it's something that you haven't seen in other fantasy genre shows or movies. You know, it's sort of a piece that is unique to Leigh's world, and hopefully that will get them curious enough to tune into the rest.
So Jessie, your character Alina is described as a map maker in the trailer, but it's obvious that she's got some hidden depths there. So can you talk a little bit about the power she's displaying and why it's such a big deal?
Yes, when we first meet Alina, she is just a cartographer in the army, and she then discovers that she has this mythical power to summon sunlight, which of course from the trailer we can see that the country of Ravka is split in two by this enormous expanse of darkness. So it then is Alina's responsibility to banish the fold with her newfound powers.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
Little bit of pressure.
And Ben, Alina is obviously our focal character in the trailer, but it's your voice that's leading us through it. So can you talk a little bit about who General Kirigan is and how he plays into Alina's story? Because he obviously has some powers of his own.
Kirigan has been hoping
to be able to banish the fold, to be able to bring peace to the country, which is a very war-torn country, as you'll see when you watch the show. But we find, all these characters in the midst of the tension of this war that's going on, and Kirigan is ambitious and powerful, and his power is to be able to manipulate the darkness. So it's the opposing power to Alina's. So when he discovers Alina, he knows that she's going to be very important to both him and this world that we find ourselves in.
Archie, your character Mal is Alina's closest friend. So why is he so concerned about her going into the shadow fold here, and how does he kind of tie into her story?
Well, as you can see from the trailer, it's not the nicest place to be. And obviously when she turns up on the boat, he's a little bit concerned for her well-being, and surprised because she wasn't meant to be there. And yeah, they're childhood friends. They grew up in an orphanage together. And Mal really in the series will just go to the ends of the earth to protect Alina and to look after her. So he's a very gifted tracker, like unusually good. I won't go into too much detail about that. Alina is kind of like Mal's home. That's the way I kind of see it. And to have that kind of taken away from him, we see in the trailer, and she goes off with General Kirigan, is a lot. And in the show, we get to see that. We get to see Mal's journey and him trying to be reunited with her.
Now, Freddy and Kit and Amita, we only see brief glimpses of your characters in the trailer, but they're definitely very memorable moments. So what was your favorite part of what we just saw, and does it kind of bring back any memories of filming?
Lots of the show, we're all kind of in different pockets of the story. So to see lots of stuff that we weren't necessarily present for on the day, kind of fully realised is really exciting. And also, part of the reason that you don't see much of Freddy, Amita and I is if you haven't read the books, then you can just watch the show as is and enjoy it that way. But if you do know the books, then everything we do is a potential spoiler. So if you want to find out, you'll just have to watch. But it was great to kind of see those moments and kind of go, oh yeah, that's what happened that day, because it has been a while. And so it's great to kind of go back to the beginning and see where it's going to go.
Yeah, getting to finally see the shadow fold is very exciting, I'm sure, for all of us, because not a day would go by on set where we weren't going up to Eric and going, so just one more time, what does it look like? Because right now it's just a big green wall, and we're having to pretend to be terrified of going anywhere near it, or sort of screeching sounds coming from this big green wall. So yeah, getting to see that for the first time was very exciting.
In the trailer, you see Inej throw one knife in the trailer, and I remember that day I said knife probably 1,000 times to a very special someone, and I fell in love with that word, knife.
Best story ever.